This is Chapter 16, Story Treatment, located in the book Broadcast Journalism, Techniques of Radio and Television News. There are many different ways to make a news story for radio. It can be anywhere from a copy story to a full-out documentary-style story on any given incident. There is the obvious difference between the television and radio broadcasts, the images and visuals that accompany stories. This chapter and I will help to distinguish the different types of story treatments in the radio. Breaking news is news at its most immediate. It highlights how radio is at getting information to the audiences extremely fast, sometimes while the event is still unfolding. This is usually due to on-the-scene reporters that are giving radio broadcasters up-to-date information about what is going on. A headline is the title of the story, which should be able to describe what happens in the story and why it is significant. As mentioned in my previous presentations, no one wants to read anything boring. No one wants to read information from an article with a boring name. As well, no one wants to listen to a story on the radio that has a boring introduction. So the headline must be informative and yet enticing and inviting. Headlines are meant to summarize, attract, create an index, mostly in newspapers, set the mood of the story, as well as the tone for the publication medium. A copy story is a hyped-up version of the four-lined heading. They are usually about 20 to 30 seconds long, due to the information just being there to inform those who have just tuned in. It usually has no interview because it is a breaking story and has no development so far. The stereotypical time of people walking around with huge cameras and an even bigger van filled with equipment is over. This is due to the boom in technological advances. Most journalists just need a cell phone now. Phone clips tend to give a better idea as to how people can react to different situations. Some would even go as far as saying that they are better than quality clips, because it shows hysterical actions that give insight to a person's emotions. A teaser or taster is what most people on the radio and on television news do in order to keep the viewers and listeners on their specific channel. It usually tells the audience what is coming up. It can be a snippet from an interview or footage captured on the scene to a newscaster or radio speaker just simply saying "stay tuned for" and tailoring it to the specific events happening. A back announcement is basically a stay tuned announcement that helps to keep audiences listening to the radio station. The role of the presenter has grown in recent years. They are now not only supposed to present information, but they also need to present it in the form of a Q&A, or question and answer type interview. If the parent company is a multimedia company, they may also have to do video as well. The social media aspect also is a part of this. If necessary, the presenter may also need to do a social media type of video, sound clip, or even update in writing as to what is happening. A presenter must have their priorities straight as well. What platform should be used first, and will that platform create more work than necessary? Should it be in video, text, a soundbite? It is a known fact that breaking news is always put up front before anything else, especially if it is an interview. Interviews are mostly going to be with people who either witnessed the event or specialists or people working the event. Open-ended stories usually call for eyewitnesses, as well as continuous recaps and updates, and live reports as they happen. A lot of the information that is gotten from the scene is gotten as user-generated content, or eyewitness news. Interviews with these people can last anywhere from 30 seconds to 3 minutes. The most important part of an interview is usually cut away from the interview itself in order to have a shot that tells people what happened in the interview if they are just tuning in. This is known as either a clip, a cut, an insert, or a sound bite. The interview will give people play-by-play information, and the clip will be a little teaser. A good radio package, especially one that has interviews and sound clips, grabs the attention of the audience and keeps them more willing and interested in listening to what the radio broadcaster has to say. First, research is done in order to understand the story. Then, sound effects are added, which helps with the radio because it does not have the ability to use images and video like television does. Make sure that no other person is talking so that it sounds more professional when you are recording. Then comes the interviews. If you are not satisfied with the answers that the interviewee is giving you, then make sure that you ask follow-up questions that may expand what you want to hear. A mini-wrap or bulletin wrap is basically an organized collection of the news stories, which is what is usually heard on the radio. It is more commonly known as a newscast in the United States. It can include a variety of things such as sports, stock, weather, and many more topics of interest. This has been Chapter 16, Story Treatment, located in the book Broadcast Journalism, Techniques of Radio and Television News. Thank you so much for listening, and have a fantastic day.